Good morning, guys. Today I want to tell you about that one phone call that I received that pretty much changed my life. So it was September 2008, and it was around 4:45 in the morning, and the phone rang. And my wife got up to answer the phone, and I could hear it in her voice. It was a, "Oh no." And that certainly got me up quick. My heart started to race, and I kept thinking, I think I know what this call is. Excuse me. That call was my mother. My mother and my father, they lived across town. I bought their home, which I'm still at, that I'm living in. And my wife got off the phone. She said, "You need to go over to your mother's place, mom and dad's place real quick." I'm like, "What's going on?" And she said, "Your father is in the bedroom and your mother is in the living room, and she's calling to him, but he's not answering." And she was just too afraid to walk the hallway to go peek in that room. So I said, "Okay." So I get in my car and I drive over and I walk in. My mother's facing the other way. Immediately go in and see what's going on with my dad. So, I walk in the room and my father's in his bed, and, it's his last breath. He's already taken it and he's gone. And, it's in that moment that you realize when you lose a parent that your life is never going to be the same again. That could be bad, that could be good, I don't know. But what I did know at that moment is that my entire life just changed that fast. I have 7 siblings, 6 brothers and a sister. And nobody was around for that. That was my moment. Some may say that sounds like a curseful moment, that you had to find your father deceased. And I'm like, I didn't see it that way. I chose not to see it that way. I chose to have that last moment, my father's last moment and mine together. No one else was going to get that. So my perspective at that moment was, what a lucky, lucky man that I am to have this last moment with my dad. And of course I knew that my father, like yours and like you and me, we're on a journey. And those journeys, they don't last forever. You just hope that you get a lot of decades worth of living and breathe joy and laughter and happiness into people's lives. And it's one thing I can say about my father, is that there are a lot of things that he taught me through his actions as well as his words, but more of his actions, about how I wanted to conduct myself in my own life. Many a Saturday morning, my dad and I used to get up and go visit some of the elderly people in town. I didn't know what we were doing. We'd just walk in, and they loved seeing Cosmo, my dad, and little Pete. We'd come in, sit down. Dad would sit and have a cup of coffee or maybe a beer, depending on who it was, and just sit and just chat with people and make them feel good. Give them an opportunity to just feel good about being alive and to share. He did that all the time, and I learned that. And part of me doing videos like this came from that man, from my father. He conducted himself in ways that helped me to conduct myself in similar ways, to do videos like this, to perhaps help you at home, to get a better perspective so that you too can live a happier, more joyful life and have a great impact on your children and your grandchildren and anybody around you, co-workers, loved ones. I know it's not easy. It's not easy, this world. It's filled with a lot of streaming video and data, which isn't good for us. But I had just started my motivational speaking career at the time. And I remember standing next to my father. And, you know, I think that a lot of that, I don't know if it's showmanship, I think that's what comes out. Maybe passion is better. A lot of those passions that I experienced that were flowing out of me that made me feel alive, that came from my deceased father. And I remember saying to him, Dad, I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for all you taught me. Because I wanted to, I didn't want my father to be forgotten. So I wanted to take him with me, and I promised him that I would take him to every presentation, to every video, to everything I ever do. I'll take him with me. He'll always be there with me one way or another. And I really don't even have to think about it, because the true essence of that man and how loving and compassionate he was, I feel like they've been reflected in me and now to my kids and hopefully to my grandchildren. We just learn to love and care for each other, and it becomes automatic. We don't have to think about it. So I was giving a presentation in California, a bunch of bankers. And the way I symbolize my father when I speak is to have a suit jacket on. And I always say that, all right, Dad, let's go do it. I mean, if he had the opportunities that I had, he would have been out there doing the exact same thing in motivational speaking. So I put the jacket on, felt a sense of calm and peace and passion, and couldn't wait to get out there and just share my knowledge and my passion with my audience. That was one of the best presentations I ever gave. My connection with that group and their connection with me was palpable. It was phenomenal. I loved every second of it. But about halfway through, I got hot because I was dancing to Tony Bennett with a couple of the people in the front row. We were just having a time. Just that same thing that my father did his whole life that I learned from. So I got so hot that I asked permission from the group, would it be okay if I took my jacket off? And they were like, yeah, they're all excited. They were having a lot of fun, as was I. So I took the coat off, I put it down, and I stopped for a minute. And I remember taking a quick look at it and having my own personal moment like, let's wrap this up, Dad. Let's kill it. Let's have some fun. You may not be here physically, but in spirit you are. And you were always so good at it, and that's what made me the man that I am. So I looked out at the audience and I said to them, you guys want to know about the jacket? One person said, sure. I asked again, you guys want to hear about the jacket? And in unison, they all said yes. So I told them the story about my dad's passing and how important it was that I never forget the man that helped develop me into the man that I am today. And that this jacket here today is a symbol of my father. And all the joy and the love that he gave me and all the things he taught me. So he's here with us today. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you my father, Cosmo Percuoco. Well, that got a standing ovation. That was probably the first one I ever got. It's kind of cool though to get it with your dad. So if you lost somebody at home, if you've lost somebody really important to you, I understand your pain. You're just feeling a great sense of loss and a huge void in your life. And that's a completely human response, and you should feel that and go through that for a little bit of time. But at some point, you have to decide to celebrate the life that they had and to draw from that energy and that joy and realize that even in times of pain, there's something beautiful behind it. And that when someone leaves us, it's not because of anything we did wrong and they did wrong, it's just the way it is. And if it doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger. And that's what it did to me. Losing my father wasn't optimal. It wasn't what I wanted. But in one regard, I lost the physical man, but I began to realize the benefit of having been raised and loved by such an amazing guy. And I hope you make a choice. Maybe you've already made it, and if you haven't, start thinking about letting some of that pain go and learn how to simply love again. Even though they're not here, they can be with you in your heart and mind whenever you want it to be. Life is about perspective, and you get to decide what that perspective will be. There's a time for pain, and there's a time for healing. And I think it's time for healing. Good luck to you. I hope to God you feel a sense of warmth and peace again if you're suffering. And if you've already come out of this darkness and you're on the other side, then breathe your light and your passion into others so they can carry your message on when you leave as well.